One of the hardest, most physical parts of making this pallet wood shelf is taking the boards apart from the pallet that I'm going to be using for the shelf. Some pallets, from my understanding, are easier than others. This one's not awful, but it does require a good bit of prying to get it to come up, or to get the boards to come up. And sometimes they break. It is also very important that you watch your body mechanics and you use your legs and not your back to do these kind of tasks so as to avoid getting an injury. And now to pull out some of the nails. And now using my square to mark the spot that I want to cut the boards. I am using these nice clamps my friend Rob gave to me to clamp it to my deck railing so it will be nice and sturdy for cutting. And here we have it, the base of my pallet board shelf. It is another day and there are more boards that need to come off to make my shelf. So using my handy crowbar and my hammer. And again, as you can see while I'm doing this, I am using my legs and not my back. Here it is, got the board, so I'm going to do some board flips. So I'm using my ruler to see what the width is of that middle board and finding the midpoint, because I'm going to attach one of the boards I took off the pallet board onto the middle and then be able to measure the remaining boards from there. Using my square to make sure that I'm making a straight line. So now that I know how long the boards each need to be, I've got my circular saw, made my mark on there, and using the first one that I cut as a template to cut the remaining boards that are needed for the pallet board shelf. These are boards that are going to be the back of the shelf. Zippity-doo-dah and zippity-day. I have almost all the boards cut for the back of the shelf. Yeah, baby, we got the boards cut. Woo! Brushing off the dust off the base of the pallet board shelf. These are the 5 boards that I have cut to be the back of the shelf. And now for some pallet board dancing fun. Woohoo! Woohoo! So again, here is the base of the pallet board shelf that I cut right off of the pallet that I got, and then here are the 5 boards that I have pulled off the pallet that I cut to size. And for now, just to get a rough idea of what it's going to look like, I sat the boards on the ground and then put the base on top to see what it will look like. This pallet board wood is very, very hard and requires a lot of effort to get holes drilled into the board as well as putting the screws in. So I'm doing what I can myself. I do have a bad right wrist and I will be seeking some help from my friend Rob. He's got a lot more power behind his elbow than I do. So I am now over at my friend Rob's house in his garage doing some of this pallet board shelf project because I need a little bit of advice and also for him to help me because this wood is very hard, so he will help me put in some of the screws and things. As you can see, I am laughing because it's a lot of fun when you work with someone that you get along with and who is easy to work with. Get in there, will you? This pallet board wood is so hard. So I used my crowbar and my hammer and took another board off of the pallet, and this is the board that is smaller than the other ones that I cut and are going to be the two shelves that I'm going to place inside the pallet board shelf, and they're going to be staggered. So I measured the distance between the two sides to the middle board and marked that onto the boards, and now I'm using my circular saw, as you can see, to cut those boards to size. So I put one of those small boards that I just cut inside this pallet board square box to make a shelf, and I am trying to drill a hole right now for the placement of the screws that are going to go into the side of this pallet board shelf and into the small piece of wood that will be used as one of the shelves. See it? Now I am putting a screw through the base and into the small shelf that I have just placed in the unit. And as you can see, it's quite difficult to screw this in as it's very hard wood, but I finally got it. For this project, I have found that the wood is very difficult to put screws through, but I did talk to my friend Rob, and he said to, when I'm drilling the hole, to drill it, pull it out, drill it, pull it out. It will help to keep the bit from getting stuck in there, and that the wood is very hard and that he struggles when he helps me with this as well. But I am determined, with the help of my friend Rob, to get this pallet shelf done. I always have a vision for what I want to do with these projects and how I want to do it, and I go to Rob for advice and help when I need it. He wants to get that screw in a little bit more. We are using the square to make sure that everything is squared off so that the shelves will be as level as possible. It has taken me 2 hands to do this, as I'm pushing with all my might. And now to put in the screws. I drilled the holes, and now Rob is putting in the screws. Doing a recheck with putting the screws on the other side. As you can see, it is taking a lot of effort to get the hole into the wood for the placement of the screw, as the bit gets full of wood particles. Come on, you sucker, get in there. So now that we have a shelf in place, we now can put the missing backboard pieces, because now we have something to have the backboard adhere to with a screw. Drilling the holes. Putting in the screws. Now this is just a backboard piece, but it is a little loose because it's only attached in the middle. But you will see later how we take and fix that to make it more steady and not so mobile. And now we're doing the same thing on the other side where the other shelf is. Drilling those holes. In with the screws. So now Rob is using little brad nails and placing them at an angle so that the board won't move so easily on these two sort of freestanding boards that are only attached to the shelves at the back of the unit. And bam! After all that hard work, we have a pallet wood shelf. Woo! So Rob is just shaving off the ends of a couple of the boards to make it fairly even for the last piece that we need, which is a board at the bottom of the unit. We are putting on a little bigger board than what the width of the unit is, so that there will be a little ledge at the bottom of the shelf. You'll see what I'm talking about when we sit the shelf upright. And this was Rob's idea. Again, as you can see, Rob is having to push really hard because this is some tough wood. And I don't have the most powerful drill. And now just a few reinforcement screws. High five me, Rob. And I guess a little flapping too. So here it is, the Poppin PJ Pallet Board Shelf. It came out just as I wanted it to. It's poppin'. And now an up close and personal view. See the little ledge and how that bottom board's a little longer. Good work, Rob. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and thank you.